Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. I'm just gonna wait a few more seconds um, to let folks in here.
Hi, does anybody know how to change the name? I'm using my iPhone, but I don't know how to change instead of iPhone or something.
Yes, let me get started and I will show you on my slides here. All right. 170, I believe Susie sent me the numbers last night. I believe 172 of you registered for this session. And so we're getting there, but because of time and everything, we have a packed schedule and I have a lot of information to cover with you too. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Um, Welcome everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to Flex here. My name is Sue Ying. I'm the instructional designer here at City College. It's great to see so many familiar faces and then also names, and I appreciate you all joining us today for Flex and in my session here. Today's session is that I'm going to cover is Canvas updates unpacked. We're going to reviewing the latest updates. I'm going to share some of the things that Canvas has released within the past couple months, as well as earlier this year that you may or may not be aware of as well too. But just some housekeeping items to take care of before we get started. If you are in your office watching this or on campus and or whatnot, again, Vice President of Instruction Lisa Getchy has provided a sort of like a grab and go breakfast in OEB 114. So there's some fruits, granola bars, muffins, danishes, and whatnot with coffee and tea. So as you're going through your sessions today, if you're on campus, feel free to stop by there. It will be open until noon or until the food runs out. And so feel free to stop over there if you're on campus here. Attendance purposes as well. So if you, since we don't have a virtual sign-in sheet, we will be using the Zoom reports to track attendance. And if you've joined from a tablet or phone or have a nickname displayed as your Zoom name, we're asking that you change the name for this meeting at least. So to change your name, you want to tap or you want to access the participants button on the Zoom toolbar and then find your name from the list and select it to rename yourself. If you're unsure how to do this, leave a message in the chat and either one of the moderators or one of our colleagues here can help as well too. All right. Also, we ask that you use the Q&A to type in any questions that you have as I'm presenting and use the chat to chat. This is going to help us to just filter out the questions and gather all the questions together so that they're all in one spot so that I don't miss any as I'm presenting today. I do encourage you to use the chat though to share what you do in Canvas or your experience with any of the new features that I'll be going over today. All right, so today I'll be talking about Instructure and sharing how Canvas release updates and new features. I have a couple of Canvas reminders to share as we start off the semester. And these come from common questions that I get from faculty that I wanted to share with you all as well. This is a very large group, and so much of much of my presentation will not be interactive, unfortunately, and it'll be more informational. And I'll provide links and resources to everything that I'm talking about. I'll also share my PowerPoint with Susie, so it'll be available on the Flex website as well too for you to use as a resource, um, and to be able to explore some of these features a bit more as well too. So for the most part today, it's you can choose to watch and listen, to just kind of hear the information for now, and then decide later on which tools or which features you may want to explore more. Or if you are interested, you can look at the links, take a look at which ones may be of interest to you, and see if you want to try out any of those as well too. So you are more than welcome to do either one of those. Are there any questions before I get started? All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Before getting into any of the new updates in Canvas, I wanted to talk a little bit more about Instructure. Some of you may already know this information, so you can just listen or close your eyes for the next 5 minutes or so. But those of you who are new, I wanted to provide some context so that we're all on the same page and that we have the same information. So Instructure is the parent company of Canvas, which is the learning management system that we use, or LMS as is a popular acronym that a lot of folks use. And the California Community Colleges has a contract with Instructure, which allows all of us to use Canvas for free. It's not necessarily free, but the cost is paid for by the chancellor's office and not by the individual colleges. And so our current contract was signed in 2023, and it goes through, in 2022, and it goes through 2023. And so we'll be using Canvas for a while. And so if you are unfamiliar, or if this is your first time using Canvas, we do have a lot of resources to help you learn how to use it for teaching purposes. You can always reach out to me as well too, and I can provide some guidance and some one-on-one support as well to get you onboarded for using Canvas as well. Uh, in addition to Canvas, our contract also includes 24/7 chat support. So when you're logged into Canvas and you click on the chat on the help menu, you're actually talking to a Canvas support person. If Canvas is unable to assist, or maybe it's a logo issue that we can only resolve here at FCC or in the district, they'll send those tickets back to us then. So for example, if it's a dual enrollment question, they wouldn't be able to answer that. Or if it's a specific publisher integration that you're trying to set up in your class and you're having issues with, they wouldn't necessarily be able to answer those types of questions. For that, you would want to submit an FCC ticket so that it goes directly to someone here on campus or in the district here. Um, we also have access to Canvas Studio, and this is a video sharing platform that we've had for a couple years now, and it's directly integrated into Canvas. So with the contract and everything, those are all part of the negotiations and what's available to us then. If anyone is interested, you can read over the contract. They've made it available for anybody as well too. So InstructureCon is an annual summer conference where all folks who use Canvas, K-12, higher ed, international schools, they gather and they share ideas. And this is also where Canvas announces a lot of their big updates and what's coming up next and everything. Um, in the past, what they've done is they've announced these and then they've enabled them, and then we start our semester. And then we come back and we notice, oh, what is this? And so that's why that has occurred in the past and whatnot. And it may have occurred too as you logged into Canvas this week to look at your classes and prepare your classes. At this past conference this summer, Instructure announced a partnership with OpenAI that where they plan to embed a lot of AI learning experiences within Canvas, and they will start slowly to roll out some of these features within the next couple of months. Um, when this announcement came out, some of the statewide leaders from the chancellor's office and whatnot were attending Instructure, and they were sort of caught off guard by Instructure's announcement of this partnership, because as you know, we are a really major and big customer of Instructure, and so they were just surprised that they were not notified in advance. Um, the executive director of the California Virtual Campus, CVC, Marina Amini, she sent out an email to all of the coordinators and to other groups as well too, and she just wanted to reassure those of us in the community colleges that they are speaking with InstructureCon. I mean, yes, with Instructure, to make sure that faculty, learning management system admins, and colleges still play a key role on how and if these functionalities are rolled out from Canvas. And so stay tuned. um, in the coming months, Canvas will continue to provide us information as well too, and guidelines like they've always done in the past. They will create Canvas guides for faculty and for students on these new features and everything. And so again, you'll slowly start seeing them throughout this semester as well too. Some items, once I get to the Canvas releases and whatnot, some items will give us the option to be, to turn it off or turn it on, but others will just automatically be there and we just have no choice. Now, before I move off on this slide, though, and if anyone's interested, again, next year they're going to have their conference. It's going to be in Louisville, Kentucky this time, July 21st to the 23rd. So again, if you've never been to an InstructureCon or if you're interested, feel free to take a look at that. But since I'm on this slide, I also wanted to throw in another conference. This one is an annual online teaching conference, which is hosted by CCC Tech Connect. And so this one is more local more local for us as community colleges, and also in California here as well too. But this is primarily for the community colleges to come and share ideas and concerns around distance education, educational technology, Canvas, and whatnot. And so next year, this conference will be held in Anaheim on June 23rd to the 25th. So again, if you are interested, you can save those dates, or start asking for some travel funds to attend. For the online teaching conference, they release their information and early bird registration starting later in fall. And so if you're interested, you can take a look at their website on that as well. All right. So Canvas releases. The Canvas release notes is what they call them. In these notes, they share updates about new features, big improvements, important changes that we'll see in Canvas. And these release notes are updated every third Wednesday of the month. when we take a look at the release notes, you'll always see that there's a date associated with the release note, and this date indicates when those features that are in the note will be available in what they call the production environment. So the production environment means that when we log into Canvas, we're going to see it.
Hey,
It's going to
Kat,
be, yeah, it's going to be
can you
available.
take a
Yeah,
second and give me a hand?
yeah, it'll be available. It's going to show up in our courses and everyone's Canvas once they log in. Um, One other note, when looking at the release notes, you'll see that there's going to be a section called Enable Feature Option Location and Default Status. This tells us if it is at the account level or at the course level. At the account level, it would be referring to like at the district level, because at the district level, from the chancellor's office, they give us the SCCCD um, uh, Canvas login link, which is at the district level. And then once we log in, we have access to whichever campus we're located at. And so that's why at Fresno City College, when you log into Canvas, it may look a little bit different. It has the different logo in the upper left corner versus when you log into Reedley College, you'll see the Reedley College logo in the upper left corner as well too. And so that's the course level then. So not course level. I'm sorry, the account level is the district level. The course level would be in our courses then, where you have been assigned as an instructor. And so there will be some features where it has to be enabled at the account level first before it shows up in our courses. And others where it will automatically just show up in our courses, and then we have the option to be able to enable or disable it then. Let's see, and as I mentioned earlier, some features are just automatically rolled out and unlocked for everybody. And so when you're looking at the release notes, just make sure to check to see if it's something that has to be enabled at the account level, if it's at the course level, or there's no option and it's just going to become available to everybody. The second thing that I want to point out is the feature preview. Feature previews are features that are still in active development. And so anyone who wants to can enable and try these features, and after you test it out or experiment with it a bit, if you wanted to provide feedback or maybe some suggestions to improve the feature, you can. Canvas can still make those changes since it's still in development then. And they have different community user groups where you can join to get the latest updates on the different features that are available, to join other folks that are also sort of piloting and testing out these feature preview options as well too. So in the next couple of slides, I'm going to show you some updates that have already been rolled out, and you may have already noticed them in your Canvas courses. I'm also going to show you some feature previews as well, which is why I wanted to spend some time on this slide here so that we understood the difference before I actually show you what's in our Canvas then. All right, so the first one is copy a Canvas course page when we're importing content. So a lot of us are importing content from last spring, from last fall, or whatnot. And so as you copy your courses, you may have seen a more modern and updated interface then. As you can see, this is just a screenshot of how it looks now, but you can still see that, we have the option to select all content or select specific content. Under options, the checkbox next to import existing quizzes as new quizzes is automatically checked. And at this moment, it can't be unchecked then. So don't worry though, your quizzes will not be converted into new quizzes. They'll still stay in what is referred to as classic quizzes then. Um, some of you may be wondering what is new quizzes. Canvas has the reason why you may not have heard about this is because Canvas has been developing new quizzes for a long time, but it has continued to stay in development because of issues and because of options that many of their customers want new quizzes to be able to do before they transition their their instructors or their districts to using new quizzes. Um, if the classic quizzes are working for you, I'd stick with those for your online courses. Um, in a sandbox, if you know, you are more than welcome to try new quizzes to see what the difference is, and then decide if you'd like to transition over. They are still now. Just keep in mind they are still developing and making changes to new quizzes. um, uh, the the primary reason that I was hesitant to share new quizzes or even do any workshops or training on new quizzes is you wouldn't be able to convert a new quiz back to a classic quiz. So if you decide, oh, I don't like this new quizzes and had already created it there, we would have to recreate it again in classic quizzes. And so I just felt like that the time that's put into trying to create a quiz and whatnot. If Canvas had a feature where okay, yes, it can just copy over the questions and the setup and everything that we've already put into the quiz details and everything, then that would be great. But last time I checked it, they were not able to do that, and so um, I just if you want to explore it, you can, but I just know that there are some things like that that are part of new quizzes uh, that you should be aware of. That all right. The next one is discussions. Um, they call it the discussions default view. So when creating or editing a discussion, you now have the option to configure some default view settings then. So including whether the discussion is collapsed or expanded, or it's sorted from oldest to newest and whatnot. And you can also lock these preferences if needed. So this is a new feature that Canvas implemented to allow you to structure your discussions in a way that aligns with your teaching approach to guiding student engagement and interaction when it comes to discussions. So again, this would be in the as your building discussions and the options and everything. You'll see this new section here as well. Another thing with discussions is multiple due dates or discussion checkpoints, as they've been calling it as well too. So with this feature, it allows you to set multiple due dates for graded discussions to accommodate the different stages of a discussion. So a lot of us have our discussions where students have to post their initial post and then they have to reply to their peers then. And most of the time those have different due dates. And so now Canvas has this option in here that allows us to set that up. Once you set up checkpoints of the discussion, the settings will remain. Even if we copy it to another course or, maybe to our spring courses or anything like that, once you set it up, it will remain with that discussion assignment then. This feature also allows for more structured participation from the student perspective as well too. Um, uh, it actually has the different deadlines and due dates based on the initial post and also on the replies to the peers. Um, and so it reminds the students to come that they have to come back and make those complete those tasks. Now, to create the checkpoints, you must select graded, or either you won't see the assign graded checkpoints option. Now you can go back to any of your existing graded discussions and add the graded checkpoints to them as well. Once you check the assign graded checkpoints here, you will have to include the possible points for the initial reply to the discussion prompt, then the number of additional replies required of the students, and the possible points for those additional replies. And so all those points will be calculated automatically and listed as the total points possible for that entire discussion. Um, from the student perspective, when they view your discussion in a module, they can view the due dates and the number of replies required for that discussion. It's going to break it up separately. And once a student has completed a checkpoint, the date and time completed will display for them so they know that, oh, okay, I already did my initial. I just need to do my replies now. I would recommend and suggest that if you do want to try this, after you set up your checkpoints in your discussion, use the view as student button to see how your discussion would look like from the student perspective. It is going to be a little bit different than how past discussions have been set up. And so again, if you do decide to use this, make sure you just let your students know as well too. All right. The next thing is files. So the files area has went through a pretty big redesign. I like it a lot better now. As you can tell, the folder tree view has now been replaced with a more modern and cleaner user interface here. You can now filter and sort files using any of the column headers here as well too. There is an enhanced search to help you find files in your courses. You can now select multiple files to bulk delete or to download or anything like that. Um, Now, as you can see at the top, they still have a button for you to be able to toggle back to the old files page view if you want. This button is only going to be available until the end of this year. So again, moving after that date, then it'll remain the new file um, update then as well too. But I like this view a lot better when I'm looking at my files. Again, you can still have folders and everything like that. You can still upload your course files or images or anything. It's just a much more user friendly interface now. All right. The media player in Canvas, as well as for Studio, has also been updated and with a new design. And then it's also been um, it's also they call it adaptive streaming for smoother playback. So depending on the strength of your bandwidth or anything like that, it'll automatically adjust so that you have a better viewing experience. When you embed video, the default size has been set to a larger scale so that you don't have to keep resizing the video on your pages and whatnot. The play bar no longer covers any content, and the volume, caption settings buttons are more logically placed down here for easier viewing. They also included new keyboard shortcuts for quick and easy navigation, and so you can check those out as well too. Um, and yes, I talked about the bandwidth and everything like that already. And so again, when we're embedding any Canvas Studio videos or any media videos that we have in Canvas, they'll be in this new media player format here. All right. So are there any questions about those releases? And these are things
I
that have
I
already been
have one.
released. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Sue.
Oh, hey, Nancy.
Um, so I was for the media player Canvas Studio. I do a brief introduction for announcements, and I was having a problem getting the small little thumbnail clip into my announcement. It would give me a link, but it wasn't giving me like the thumbnail that you're showing here,
Mhm.
which I'm used to. I'm used to having them, see the thumbnail, click on it, and then it plays.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if I was doing something wrong. It embeds the link, and that's not a problem, but it used to embed the whole thumbnail, and it doesn't seem to want to do that. Did they change that, or is there something that I'm doing wrong, or and that's under the share. You go into that share, and it'll say either copy or embed, and I tried embedding the link, and that didn't work at all. So I was wondering if there was something that I'm doing wrong, or if there's a new way of them doing it, or if they disabled that.
Hmm. Yeah, so the embed should embed the video just like how I have it here in my screenshot. Um,
Okay.
yes, I may have to take a look at it. If you could send me an email and let me know what course that's in, I can
Okay,
actually take a
sure.
look at it, yeah, to see if what's going on. But yes, when you embed it from Studio and everything, it should have the entire player just like how it shows here on my screen.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Maybe there might be a uh something unclicked or something that's with the internal system itself that's not allowing me to do that. So
Mhm.
I'll send you an email about
Okay,
that. That's great. Thank you, Sue.
sounds good. Um, I let me see, Maria, what is the capacity allowed for studio? They they the chancellor's office they haven't given us, and the district, they haven't really given us like, okay, you can only have this many gigabytes per faculty or anything like that, because not all faculty use Studio. A lot of instructors just use YouTube videos or other streaming platforms as well too. And so let's say if I use a lot, let's say Maria, if you use a lot, um, and you may have like 10 gigabytes of videos, that may be okay because I don't use it at all. And so you're using my share of it as well too. And that's how they've been sort of calculating storage, not necessarily per person, but for districts and whatnot. And so we have quite a bit of usage on Canvas Studio. And we haven't received anything like, oh, we're over our storage limit or anything like that. So I think we're okay. Once we hear from the chancellor's office or anything like, oh, you all have a lot of you're using a lot of space on the studio, then I think we would probably take a look at it more closely. Let's see here. I'm gonna try to answer a couple more questions before I move on. Um, Let's see. Travis asked, I use the speedreader feature in the Canvas Teacher iPad app. It's incredibly slow, especially in newest version. Is anyone else experiencing this? Is this the enable the feature preview, Travis? Yeah, I'm gonna actually go over the speed grader feature preview, so I wonder if it's the same thing or not.
Oh,
Um,
sorry. Sorry, I had trouble finding my mic button. No, just using the not a feature one, just using the
oh,
same. You click on the to-do list, you tap on the assignments, and you kind of scroll through them. They take quite a while to load and quite a while to scroll. It's very laggy.
yeah.
That was my question.
Yep. So interesting you mentioned that then because they do have the speed grader, they're calling it speed grader upgrades is in the works as well too. They're going to be updating it to be for they're saying faster and easier grading, especially if you also teach a um, large class, like if you're teaching a large class in Forum Hall or anything like that. And so when I get to that slide, maybe it's a feature that you may want to test out in your sandbox or something to see if it is quicker on your iPad then.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Mhm. Let's see, Kathleen, you asked if you have copied discussion from another course, can you convert it to have multiple due dates? So yes, you can go in
I
and
did, I
edit.
saw it, sorry.
Oh, okay,
But you have to have no replies in it yet to be able to edit it, so I figured that out.
okay, perfect. That's good to know. Yes.
Thanks.
So if you copied it from last semester and students have not replied to it or anything yet, then yes, you can add those checkpoints, add those multiple due dates in there then. All right. Um, let's see here. I know I still have some questions here, but I'm gonna come back to them as I move on to the feature previews. Now, as I'm going through these feature previews, these are in your course settings, and I didn't take a screenshot of it, but these are optional features that you can enable to have in your course. And so by default, they are all turned off. But if you want to experience or try one of these, you go into your course settings and then you go to, I want to make sure I tell you all correctly. There's going to be a feature preview tab or feature options tab. And then there you're going to see a list of different features that you can enable in your course. I don't know if I can add this to my share screen. I don't think I can, but but yes, again, in your course settings, if you go to the feature options tab, you'll be able to see these next couple feature preview items that I'm going to be talking about. And so if you're interested, you can enable it. And again, I recommend you enable it in your sandbox and not in a class where you have students. All right, this first one here, is their enhanced rubrics. Once you've enabled this feature, you'll see an updated landing page that's going to list your rubrics now in your course. Again, I think this update is very much overdue for rubrics. If you recall before, when you clicked on rubrics, it simply had the name and sometimes there were multiple rubrics with the same name and everything, and you weren't sure where it was located, what or what it was attached to or anything like that. So I think this update is very much overdue. Um, the landing page has been updated, so now it actually lists your rubrics in the course. You can also search. If you have a lot of rubrics in your course, you can import rubrics or create a new rubric from scratch here then. You also can use the different column headings to sort your rubrics. When you create a new rubric, there is the drag and drop options as well too, to help you rearrange your criteria. So that makes it a lot easier to move things around. Whereas if you recall, when you created rubrics in the original version, it was very hard to move those items around. Now, a reminder, once you have added a rubric to an assignment and it has been used for grading already, editing the rubric is going to be very limited. You do have the option to duplicate a rubric if you need to, and then make some changes and then attach it to another assignment if you need to do it that way. But once an assignment as a rubric has been attached to an assignment and it's been graded, it's going to be hard to go back to try to make edits to that rubric then. Yes, they've also created a CSV template, so you can download that template, put in your criteria and everything, and then just import it as well too. So again, if you prefer that method, you're more than welcome to use that. All right. The next feature here is enhanced assignments. This feature, it primarily is going to look different from the student perspective. Once you enable it in your course and you create an assignment, it'll still follow pretty much the same look and format that we currently see when we create assignments from the instructor perspective. When you create I would recommend, you create a test assignment if you enable this feature, and then use the view as student option button again to view the assignment. And then as a test student as well, submit to the assignment so that you can see the workflow that a student would see. Remember these, I would highly recommend, for this one especially, I would highly recommend that you test these features in a sandbox before trying it in an actual course with students. And if you do like it and you do want to use this new feature, just make sure to be transparent with your students and provide maybe the Canvas student guides that Canvas has created for students, just so that they understand how to be able to submit or complete your assignment as well too, because not everyone is going to have this feature enabled, and so they may be a bit confused when they come into your class and then trying to complete your assignment, it looks a little bit different. And so again, just trying to be transparent and support your students if you want to use this feature. And the speed grader. Speed grader upgrades, they are working to enhance the experience to be more, to be faster and more efficient. And so hopefully this will help as we grade all of our assignments. And as you can see, there are some minor improvements to the look and feel of speed grader here. If you are using enhanced rubrics as well, when you use the upgraded speed grader, you'll see that they've given you different options on how you want to view the rubric as well too. And so that may be something that you want to try, especially if you're using a lot of rubrics with your assignments, to turn on both of those features to see how it would look. But yes, again, they are working on an upgrade to SpeedGrader here. And so again, you can take a look and test out that feature. Smart Search is a feature that allows you to search your Canvas course content. This from again, as I mentioned earlier, at this last InstructureCon, they had mentioned their partnership with OpenAI, and so in this Smart Search, they are using they call it Ignite AI, which is leveraging the algorithms and AI to help understand the context of our searches and to help find relevant results based on what we're trying to look for. And so it is enabled in Smart Search here. Once you enable it, in your course navigation menu, you're going to see a link called Smart Search. And the first time that you click on that link, it may take a minute or so to set up because it's basically reading all the content, all the information that you have in your course there. But once it's ready, then you can type in any keywords, any content. Maybe you recall an assignment you created, but you're not sure exactly what it was called. You can just kind of give a general gist of what you're looking for. Pretty much, it's going to return a list of results based off of your search. And what you can do as well is provide feedback on the accuracy of the search. Like, yes, this is exactly what I was looking for, thumbs up, or this is not close at all. And so again, based on your algorithm and everything like that, it'll improve to make sure that when the next time you come search, it knows exactly what you're trying to look for. Smart Search is currently not visible on the Canvas mobile app though. And so you would have to log into a laptop or desktop to be able to use this feature. Another thing about Smart Search as well is it's only going to search in a single course. So it's not going to look at your entire count or, all the courses where you've been an instructor in to find some content or anything. I'm assuming that will be coming down the road, but for now, the Smart Search is only for a single course.
Sue, we have Leslie with her hand raised. Leslie, you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yeah, it was back a couple of slides ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember me, Sue, but I talked to you about editing the speed search or the grading, speed grading. Are we able to do that now?
Yeah, hi Leslie. Yes, I do remember you. I have not read anything where they talked about the comments in the speed grader. Yeah, I do agree with you. I think that was a good intention, but the design of it needs to be updated as well too. If I do come across anything, because they are still working on the upgrades to SpeedGrader, that may be something that others have brought up to Canvas to implement in this SpeedGrader upgrade. And so I wouldn't be surprised if right now it doesn't have it, but maybe when they officially release it into production, that something like that would be available. But for now, I have not read or come across anything about the comments yet in SpeedGrader.
Okay, and when is that official thing gonna happen?
So Canvas, Canvas, they provide roadmaps, they provide timelines and everything, but ultimately they can push back their release dates and everything like that. For example, new quizzes, it's new quizzes has been around for a long time, years, and it's still not something that they fully rolled over into their production. And that's why we still have classic quizzes and new quizzes. And so if it's something that I think the community as well as instructor is satisfied with, that would help a lot of their users, then I think they roll it out. But if there's still a lot of questions, a lot of features that the community wants, the rollout may be pushed back. And so I'm hoping that with the speed grader one, there'll be enough upgrades to it where it will satisfy how most people will use it, and so that it'll just be in production. But if it isn't, then we could see it pushed back. So
All right, thank you.
okay, let's see here. Okay, I want to see how am I on time here. All right, so another feature preview here is preserve group set during assignment or discussion copy. And so for those of us that use, a lot of group, discussions or group assignments, this one is for us. In course settings, there's a feature that will preserve the group set during whenever we copy that group assignment or group discussion into a new course, so that we don't have to recreate those group sets again in our new course. So let's say if you have a group assignment or a group discussion. So when you copy that assignment from one course to another, if Canvas doesn't see the group set already in that course, it will create a new group set with the same names that you've set as the original in that new course. So again, if you use a lot of group discussions or group assignments or anything like that, and you always have to create new groups in your courses, enable this one and see how it works, and if it will save you time when you're building your course for the semester. All right, let's see. I believe I only have till 9:15, right, Susie?
I think Susie stepped out, but yes, you have until 9:15.
Okay. All right, I will come back to your questions. I just want to make sure I get through the rest of my slides here. And I promise I will get to your questions. And if I don't, I will email you my responses to you as well. All right, so this here is instructors sort of status. Like if you're like, Canvas seems kind of slow, or oh, I can't even log into Canvas, what's going on? You can always go to this website here and check if Canvas is down or not. This is a good place to also come and check, like, oh yeah, last night I couldn't get into Canvas, but today it's working fine. Was there a glitch? Was there a bug or something? Because they also do put in track whenever Canvas has any hiccups, or if there's been any past incidents where there was slowness, or where Canvas was down or anything like that. And so again, this is a good website to bookmark, just so that you can check on the Canvas status if there are any issues when you're trying to log into Canvas there. If there are any issues, they will also update this page as well too, if the fix has been implemented or if they're still monitoring the situation and working on a fix or anything like that. And so again, just a little resource to have. I'm gonna move away now, but still share some common questions that I receive from instructors on issues that you may also have experienced. And I just want to be able to share it with all of you. Uh, if you have imported or copied a course from a previous semester, and in that original course you have a late policy with due dates, you may have come across this issue. So let's say in spring 2025, um, in your course, you set a late policy to automatically apply a grade for any missing submissions after a set due date for an assignment. Now in fall, you want to copy, your content from spring as well too. So once you copy over the content and you view your grade book, you see that students already have zeros for some of the assignments. So in your fall course, you check your late policy, you update the due dates, you unpublish the assignment, but it doesn't remove or adjust the zero in the grade book. Why? Why did that happen? So when you copied the course from spring to fall, the due dates and the late policy were still in place. And in your fall course, it automatically placed the zeros because none of the students in your fall course completed the assignment on time because the due date was set in spring. And so because of the late policy as well, it just and there was no submissions or anything, Canvas just automatically placed zero for their grades. And so how can we prevent this from happening? So what we should do is when we copy our courses from a previous semester, we want to make sure that we check the box to adjust events and due dates. And we want to make sure that we check remove dates. So this is going to remove the dates from the due dates from the assignments, and it's going to allow us to set new due dates for the fall then. And the grade book will be good to go because we've removed those dates, we've set future dates, and so Canvas understands like, oh, okay, for these assignments now for this new semester, okay, now I'm gonna follow your late policy and all of that then. And so again, we have to be a little bit smarter than Canvas thinks it is to be able to fix some of these fixes here. So again, this may be something you have come across, and so to prevent it from happening, when you copy your courses from last spring or from a previous semester, just remove the dates then. Another one here is an important reminder for us, for those of us that have cross-listed or combined courses. When taking attendance, you want to make sure that you use the drop down to take attendance for all your sections. This will make it a lot easier for the end of the semester when we have to run our attendance reports, because then we can simply filter and separate the courses by the course ID numbers and submit our attendance files for each section separately to A&R then. So again, just a reminder, use the drop down to take attendance for all of the cross-listed sections that you have. I want to take a minute or two to talk about enrollment fraud. You may have heard of enrollment fraud or fake students enrolling in online courses. There's been multiple articles and stories around this. At the state chancellor's office, they are, actively trying to find ways to combat enrollment fraud in the system. Even our district is trying to do the same thing as well too. But there will be times when these checks don't catch all of them. And they get into our online classes. And so during the first week of the semester, it's very important that we document any suspicious or unusual activity. A lot of these enrollment fraud or fake students, they're just bots that somebody has set up to get financial aid and whatnot. And so again, we just want to make sure that if it looks suspicious or it's unusual, the student completed all the assignments for the first module at 2 a.m. back to back to back, that that you may want to take a closer look to see what's actually going on. Or if two students have the same submissions at a weird time or something like that, that may be a bots trying to complete the assignments for your course. Last semester, DE coordinator Sally Potter and Lydia Anderson from business, now interim dean, put together a list of guidelines to help online instructors identify and deal with fraudulent enrollment. The guidelines are based on what the state chancellor's office has stated, and then also recommendations from the state academic senate guidance as well too. I'm going to link that page in the chat there, so you can take a look at it as well too and read it over. In addition to the guidelines, I just wanted to go over some things that you can do on the first week and onward. So during the first week, really we want to explain to students and provide them an overview of our attendance and participation policies. We want to ensure that the students have read and that they understand these policies. How can we verify student identity? We could require students to participate in an introduction. A lot of us have introduction discussions or assignments that we have them complete so that they don't get dropped. So maybe asking them questions about their major, or what class was their favorite, or what is their career goal. What are they most excited about coming to Fresno City College? We want to be sure that their response makes sense, and that's, like, students don't have the same responses. How can we design our assignments so it can't be completed by a bot? We've listed some ideas here, incorporating personalized content into the prompt, share your experience with, let's say, a next topic, using reflective assignments that require unique responses or critical thinking, creating a name coach assignment where students have to record their name pronunciation for you, have students create, maybe instead of text, create a video submission as an introduction. Again, on the enrollment fraud page, you can find more information as well regarding the guidelines that were shared with faculty last semester. So as you may have seen, the district has been sending out emails about the Zoom recording and transcription retention policy. Last summer, the state chancellor's office created this policy and provided a timeline of when this would start. And so again, that's going to start in October this semester then. So all Zoom recordings created before July 31st will be deleted from our Zoom accounts then. And so if you're not sure, you may still have some COVID recordings on there or something like that, but you can always log into your Zoom accounts and check your recordings to see if there are any that you may want to save. You want to make sure that you download those and save them elsewhere. Or if you don't need them at all, you can go in and delete them ahead of time as well too. But again, on October 2nd, those Zoom recordings will start to be deleted. When they are deleted, they will be in the Zoom trash folder for 30 days. But after this time period, though, the recordings will be deleted permanently and inaccessible. The moving forward though, as you can see from the little timeline here, they will start deleting recordings on an annual basis as well too. So again, July 1st, they will be deleting recordings starting from August 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. And so if you are using Zoom Cloud to save your recordings, you want to make sure that any that you want to save, you download and save them before any of these um, deletion dates for the retention policy. There is CCC TechNet. There is they are hosting a free webinar coming up on the August 13th that will go over this and will give you some guidance to prepare for this new Zoom storage policy. So again, this is a free webinar and it's open to anyone within the community college system here. So you're more than happy to register for that.
Sue,
Yes.
if I may interject, what I did was I had a lot of my recordings that I did for my chapters in Zoom. And so what I did is I downloaded those and then I uploaded those to Studio. And I have kept all of them in Studio, and that's a great place to keep them.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, because we will have Studio for a while too. Studio is a great place to store videos that you are continuously using or want to use in your classes. Um, it does also caption your videos for you for accessibility purposes and everything like that too. So again, take a look at Studio if you haven't yet.
So while we're on that topic, is there a resource that I can access that kind of shows me how to use Studio?
Yes, I will put it in the chat for you.
Thank you.
In the in Canvas, we have a virtual hub for faculty, which provides a lot of information about like the tools that we have available, how to use Canvas, how to start your semester, all of that. And so I encourage you to take a look and check it out and give us feedback on what kind of information you want in there. And so again, all of you are automatically enrolled in the virtual hub for faculty, so you should see it on your dashboard, or you may have hidden it or something like that. But it is on your Canvas. But I'm going to link the specific page for Studio. If you are interested, you can take a look at that. Or you can reach out to me and I can go over Studio with you as well too. Before I run out of time, next one here, the district has secured contracts, again, through district emails. The district has secured contracts with Turnitin and Grammarly for this next academic year for faculty and students. There will be a work group to evaluate both of these tools for future adoption considerations. So again, if you are interested, make sure you look for the communication that's coming from the district office and join these work groups to evaluate and give your input on which platform or which tool we should use. Again, the two options are going to be Turnitin or Grammarly. I believe we just received another email. Was it this week or last week? I can't remember exactly, but And these emails came from Dr. Frost at the district office. And so again, if this is something, these tools are something you use or are interested in, make sure to look for information coming about joining the work groups and everything. And lastly, once you have your courses ready to go, make sure you publish. First day of school, I get so many questions from students like, I don't see my Canvas course, or, I'm supposed to be in this class, but I don't see it. And when I check for them, I'm like, oh, your instructor hasn't published it yet. Send them a message, and just let them know that you can't see the course. So I'm reminding you now, please publish your courses so that students don't feel anxious, like, am I in the course, am I not in the course, or whatnot. Publish your courses when you're ready, so that it helps your students as well too.
I have a question. Can we ask questions, Sue? This is a need.
Yes, one more thing, because we're pretty close to 9:15. I want to make sure I end on time for folks to walk to their next session or attend their next session. There will be multiple surveys. I know there is survey fatigue and everything like that, but these are important surveys. There is, as we mentioned at convocation, we have a regular substantive interaction survey coming from the Office of Institutional Effectiveness. This is going to help us to see what else we need to cover, or how we can support you and support each other and prepare for our ACCJC visit then. So it's very important for us to get your feedback, your ideas, what you're doing, if you're doing something great that you'd want to share with other faculty or anything like that. So again, look for that survey. The other one is for DE certification, our DE certification course. If you have gone through the FCC DE certification course, you will receive an email as well too. We want your feedback on this to help us improve the course, with suggestions, ideas. Was it helpful? Was it not? What else would you like to see? Again, your feedback is greatly appreciated for this. And then again, Flex Day survey, you will receive the evaluation surveys, I believe, on at the end of the day today too. And so we would really appreciate it if you would just complete those as well and take a few minutes to fill out that for us then. All right, so I know it's 9:15. If you have to jump off and go to your next flex session, you are more than welcome to. I know it was a lot of information. Thank you for just hanging out and listening, asking questions. The questions that I did not get to, I will write down your name and your question, and I will email you your response. Again, thank you so much for attending my session today, and have a great semester. I'm here to support you, so just definitely reach out and let me know how I can help. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue, and thank you to Chelsea and Jamie.
Yes, thank you to the interpreters.
See you at the next one.
Yes, thank you.